Hey everyone, this is Casual Fanatic.
Film reviews without the shoes.
I'm Luca, your casual viewer.
And I'm Cayman, your fanatic. How's it going?
Alrighty, it's going pretty good. I'm pretty tired honestly today. I played a lot of volleyball yesterday for the first time, like hardcore for hours.
Hardcore
for the first
volleyball.
time. Well, not hard. You know what I mean? Like
That's when the volleyball is a bomb, and every time it hits the ground, it
it
explodes.
explodes. Yeah, that's true.
Really
That's
gotta
true.
keep it on the other side of the net.
Yeah, really gotta toss it over. No, I don't. It was a lot of hours playing, and I put sunscreen on my face, and I missed the top part of my forehead, like right by my hairline.
You got sunburn?
Yeah, and my neck's fucking roasted too.
Damn.
So that's probably like the worst part of it, but it was a good time. And then at the night time, we played some pool, and then it was a buddy's like birthday party kind of thing. So a few of us went out afterwards, but I only hung out for like an hour, and then I went back home because I was tired and burned.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that was my day yesterday. So I'm a little bit tired, wearied today, but it is what it is, and I need to work after this too for a little. So joys.
Why you gotta work after this?
So the project that I'm working on has three people that are doing the production work. And one of them today is leaving on military leave for 2 weeks. And this is like a competition project, and it's moving really fucking fast paced.
Gotcha.
And so he's gone for 2 weeks. He's like the main dude that was on it. And the other guy, he has a fresh ass baby, like a week old.
Nice.
So I'm the only one that doesn't have a baby or military things going on. So
Why not?
well, no thanks. Not yet. Yeah. But so I want to put in some work so that on Monday we can finish up and send it out to our construction team so they can basically put a number to the project. But what have you been
Nice.
up to, man?
I have been up to pretty much the same stuff as usual. Just been
Mhm.
working. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else I've done this week. The Oscars are today, so I might
Oh.
watch that. We'll see what happens.
Okay. What time is that?
I don't know. I just know it's
LOL.
today.
Interesting. Have you ever watched it?
Yeah. I didn't watch last year's, and I
Damn,
don't think
that's
I don't
fun.
think I watched
one
the
with
year
the most
before
drama?
that. But yeah, I think because of last year's drama, that's why I'm more inclined to watch this year, 'cause- just to see what happens.
You don't know, dude. Someone's gonna get bitch slapped. Yeah. Let's hope not.
But Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which we just recently reviewed, is up for Best Animated Film.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a fucking solid ass animated movie, so it makes sense.
although it is going against the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio movie, which was also really good.
I actually never watched the actual movie. I only watched the producer's movie of like how they made and produced the movie, if that makes
Interesting.
sense. Yeah, so I got like all the background information of, the characters and how they basically built them and the set and, the strategy behind all of it, but I never
Right.
watched the actual movie.
Then there's also Marcel the Shell and the Sea Beast. I've never heard of either of those.
Yeah,
The
no
Sea
clue.
Beast almost looks like another Pinocchio thing.
Huh, interesting.
And then Turning Red, which I honestly forgot came out last year, but was I think the newest Pixar movie.
What was that one about? Turning Red?
It's like this girl finds out that her family has like a ancient curse that turns them into like giant red pandas.
The fuck?
Yeah.
She has like a ton of red pandas around her or what?
I don't know. I never saw it.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay. That was up for Best Picture?
Yeah, those are the five. Well, not for best animated feature.
Oh, animated. Okay.
Yeah, they're a completely different list for best picture.
Okay. So out of the movies that we have reviewed this year, the only one that's up there is Puss in Boots.
Yes, as far as I know.
Is the menu not up there, or is that too?
The menu is not up there, although I think looking at the best picture list, there are definitely some things on here I think could have been replaced. Like
Interesting.
Avatar: The Way of Water is up there, which, as I said previously, I think is an absolutely gorgeous movie, but Best Picture is a little bit of an exaggeration if you ask me.
Damn, interesting. I mean, I heard it was a bomb movie.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is also up for Best Picture.
Okay.
Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, that one's up for Best Picture?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was good.
The Elvis movie.
Did I see that one? I don't know.
It's interesting. I also don't know if I'd put that at Best Picture. A bunch of movies on here that I haven't seen. All Quiet on the Western Front, The Banshees of Inisherin,
really good.
The Fabelmans, Tar, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking.
Yeah, I heard the All Quiet on the Western Front was really good.
Interesting. I haven't really heard anything about it.
Well, I guess you'll hear more about it later when you watch the Oscars.
I suppose I will.
Did you look up when they start? Is that?
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
And how long are the Oscars even? Like, I have no idea what happens there. The only thing that I know about the Oscars is they don't have a red carpet this year. They have a champagne carpet.
It starts at 5 p.m. Pacific. So that's 6 for you and 7 for me.
Yeah, no thanks. And it goes for how long? Like 4 or 5 hours? Or is that too long?
I don't know, actually. I know there's a lot of stuff that they cut out because there's a bunch of awards that they give out that are like they don't think are interesting enough for television.
LOL.
Like best
That's
editing
rough.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Did you hear what I said about the champagne carpet color they have this year?
What about champagne?
They don't have the red carpet this year. They have the champagne colored carpet.
Why?
I don't know. They just wanted to change.
Weird.
Yeah. And it's the first time that they've done it since like the 19 somethings. I don't know when the last time was they had a champagne carpet. I could probably Google's it.
This says the longest Oscars ever was the Oscars in 2002 with a runtime of 4 hours and 23 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
The expected time for this one is about 3 hours.
Damn. Okay.
But obviously it depends on what happens.
Yeah. If someone gets slapped or not. True. Okay, so apparently it says, I think the decision to go with a champagne carpet rather than a red carpet shows just how confident we are that no blood will be shed. What?
What?
He said Oscars organizers said they wanted the rug to be mellow, like a beach or at sunset.
That sounds ridiculous.
Bro, probably because of that fucking slap last year.
Absolutely ridiculous.
They don't want like, oh wow. It's the first time that it's not going to be red in 60 years. So yeah, damn.
Dumb.
I don't know, man. The champagne color is nice though.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but there's I don't think that's a good reason to change the carpet color.
Yo, they needed to change from last year's brutality that occurred.
Ridiculous.
But anyway, besides our fun lives and the Oscars coming up, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about the 2014 movie John Wick.
Wick.
As I'm sure our listeners have heard, a fourth movie will be coming out soon in the John Wick series. So we decided to take a look back at some of the older ones.
Yeah, and this is the first one. This is the one where basically you get introduced to this character that became kind of a big deal, almost legend-like. I mean, he showed up as a character in Fortnite. It was wrapped around him.
I don't play Fortnite, so I don't keep up with any of that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, back when I played, which was
they also, I think, had Thanos in Fortnite at one point.
Yeah, they had Thanos, they had Spider-Man, they had Goku, Naruto. Yeah, they brought in like a ton of different characters to do like different powers, and that's why there's like a lawsuit.
Like, is there something happening? We're gonna put that character in here.
Yo, maybe. I mean, there's a lawsuit against fucking Fortnite. I don't know what happened to it, but that parents were saying it's too addictive.
Well, also, I don't know how do the Fortnite people, like, they must be working fast and have a lot of money to like get the rights to put all these different characters in their game.
Oh, I'm sure they have a shit ton of money, bro. Like, everyone wants to buy the skins at all times.
But that's why I'm, because isn't Fortnite a free to play game?
Yeah, dude, it's the
so
skins.
all the money they're getting is just from like cosmetics.
Yeah.
Wild.
But I mean, it's definitely like a different fun game. Like, I remember when my buddies and I were really into it. I mean, it was like every day they wanted to play and they bought every fucking skin. And like I don't usually buy things in game, but like for Fortnite, I actually did spend like $20, $30, $40 here and there.
I played one time and I couldn't figure out the building. So I was like, meh.
Yeah. Once you get good at that though, man, like I don't know, it opens a lot of doors. And there's Fortnite no build now, so
Yeah, I saw that.
you just shoot and throw bushes and yeah, because people are getting
But
just
yeah,
too good at the fucking building.
yeah, I feel like honestly, it's not even a shooting game. It's a building game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But John Wick was directed by Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, written by Derek Kolstad, and obviously stars a one Mr. Keanu Reeves, who is pretty popular on the internet, I'd say. I've never met the guy, obviously, but he seems like a chill dude.
Yeah, he seems like an upstanding citizen. I agree.
Not really any. I haven't heard any controversy about him.
I haven't either. I've honestly only seen like good positive things about him.
Yeah.
Like even with like just little snippets that I've seen online.
But the this movie had an estimated budget of $20 million, so very cheap. And ended up making about 86 million. It was a big bump for Keanu Reeves. I think his last I think this was his most successful movie since the end of the Matrix trilogy. Like
wow, okay.
He did some stuff between there and there, but none of it was really very profitable.
Dang, bro. But I will say he killed it in this movie. I think his acting was grand. It was really good. Only thing that I didn't think, it's not a spoiler either, it's just, opinions. Only thing I think he didn't do that good on is his sad scenes.
You think so?
I think his crying wasn't very convincing when I first saw it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah. And the crying I'm talking about is the one where his wife, nothing. I was about to spoil, dude. Can't believe it. Doesn't have anything to do with the actual movie, but it's okay.
Yeah. But in general, I agree. I think this movie is really good. I think it definitely, you can tell that the filmmakers understand stunt work, and I think sometimes that doesn't always work out, because I know a lot of, especially like bigger budget movies, they will have like the director, and then they'll have like a separate stunt team who coordinates everything.
Right.
But if I'm not mistaken, the director for this movie like is a stunt person, so they have like firsthand knowledge of how stunts work, and that helps a lot with like integrating the action sequences into the story.
Yo, that's sick. I mean, that's some good ass knowledge to have if you want to become a film director, honestly, especially for like action movies.
Yeah,
it's a really good prereq.
But yeah, did you have any other general thoughts?
Well, my general thoughts will bleed into spoilers, apparently. So
okay, we'll come back to that then.
I mean, I was just gonna add to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Watch the movie. It's a really good action movie. Highly recommend. It's a good one. Heart wrenching, but also like brutal at the same time. Brutal, not in a bad way, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, I believe it is time for us to step into the boxing ring. I think it's your turn first.
It is my turn first. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Due to some unfortunate, sad circumstances, John Wick comes out of retirement to take up and revenge his wife and his dog because of a mafia boss's son's mistake.
Okay. I'm gonna say retired assassin John Wick is forced to get back in the game when a group of Russian gangsters kill his dog and steal his car.
Okay.
That's what I'll say.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right, you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
It says, ex-hitman John Wick comes out of retirement to track down the gangsters that took everything from him.
Well, you said gangsters and retirement, so I think you get that one too.
All right.
They didn't really say much. That was really
it was very held
like
back.
14 words.
Yeah. Very reserved.
Yeah, that's a change from the other ones we've had. Nice.
Also, I think hitman would have been a better word than assassin. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that. I thought that would give too much away. Because, like, the whole movie, when we were watching it, Sydney was like, well, who is this John Wick guy? Like, what's he about? Like, who is he? And then he started, killing people. And she was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, he's a hitman. She's like, oh. So I feel like in that description, if you put hitman or killer in there, it just, I don't know, it takes away from like that O factor in the movie.
Yeah, I get if you're going in blind, I can
Yeah.
see that. I think the
Yeah.
promotional material for John Wick made it very clear that he's a killer.
Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, she definitely went in blind. I was surprised she'd never heard of John Wick or seen any of his stuff, but yeah.
But yeah, let's take a quick break and then we will come back and talk about some spoilers.
Let's do it.
This is the spoiler section. If you don't want the movie to be spoiled, don't listen.
Well, no warning on that one.
No, that guy, he didn't even wait for us to tell him to go for it. It said commercial break. All right, boom, spoiler, let's go. All right, well, we got that one out of the way, I guess. What are your overall thoughts of the movie and the killings and the assassinations and all that jazz? Payback.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I think the stunt work in this film is top notch, and just the attention to detail, I think, is nice. And obviously it's like a little bit unrealistic that he's just like going around popping off perfect headshots every single time and he like never misses a single shot. But at the same time, he like there's I don't know, just like even little things like them keeping track of the bullet count, and like you see many times throughout the movie him having to reload rather than like a normal action movie where they're just like running and shooting and just keep on shooting forever.
Right. Yeah, they really did keep track of like the bullet count. I feel like that was pretty good, because I feel like honestly, if you start shooting enough and you know that your gun has 12 bullets, let's say, and you have to pull the trigger for each one, basically, it's gonna be muscle memory to know when your clip's empty and you gotta reload. But as for like the headshot thing, when I was watching it, he was hitting bodies and then doing headshots to basically finish the job, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of like 2 in the chest, 1 in the head kind of a thing.
Right. And I feel like that like helps with headshot accuracy, because like, chest shots, you definitely more broad. And then once you hit them twice in the chest, they basically stop moving a lot and then you can finish them off.
True.
But, dude, brutal movie, honestly. I think the amount of blood in this movie, I mean, it's impressive. They used a lot of red.
I think they could have used more.
They could have used more. It's rated R, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like not any gore in it, which I think was a tasteful move. Like when that lady assassin like covered that African American guy's face and like shot him through the pillow.
Yeah.
But then you like saw like the blood splatter to the side and like the feather of the pillow. I don't know.
Yeah,
That was like
there's definitely, they don't hold back on the blood, but it's also not overly bloody.
Right. And which, I mean, they could have made it overly bloody for sure. Like when they were cleaning his apartment, it wasn't overly bloody, but I would say it was pretty borderline like bloody-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this one guy that was laid over his counter and he was like laying upside down with his head down. I feel like if they did want to make it more bloody, they could have like made a blood trail like oozing down his head and, pouring up on the floor. But they didn't do that, They definitely kept it more PG on that front. But yeah, I mean, great action movie. And there was never a time where there was like another assassin, him or someone else, where it was like kind of like, borderline bullshit. It was pretty legit the whole way through.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think of the dog scene?
The dog scene?
Yeah.
I forgot how like quick it is. Like it's been a long time since seeing this movie, and I feel like I don't know, I thought that it was going to be a bigger moment, but it's literally just like they're beating him up and the dog is barking and they're like someone's like, shut that dog up, and then the dog's dead.
Yeah. And then
it happens so fast.
Yeah. But then the next scene you see like him waking up with a dog laying right in front of him, toasted.
Yeah.
And him like holding the dog. So that was like a little bit more sincere. But man, I like you, the first time I watched it, like I I think it was the same like length for me, really. It was pretty short the first time I watched it through too. I remember that. But what made it longer for me this time, bro, was Sydney, man. Like
Yeah.
she could not take like the animal being killed. Like it was just, man, it was way too, dude, she bursted into tears like right away, like immediately.
Yeah, I don't think Elena has seen this movie.
Yeah. Like that's one of the scenes where I was like, I totally had like forgotten that it was coming up and I didn't warn her and all of a sudden like it happened and she cried and I was like, oh my God. Like I looked at her, I was like, it's only a movie. It's okay. But yeah, it's definitely a tough scene for animal lovers, that's for sure.
I like when the scene I like I think the more emotional scene for me is when he gets the dog and he's reading the letter from his wife about how like hey, we both knew that this was coming up because I guess she had been battling some sort of disease or something.
Yeah.
She was like no matter what happens you still need someone to love, and that was like her gift to him, and I thought that was a really nice scene.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's definitely like what builds up that emotional connection to the dog for us viewers. You know, it's like we fall in love with this little puppy that's like super cute, and then you know they show shots of it like laying down on the bed with its little paws and its head, and then waking him up, licking his face, and then taking a car drive together and all that stuff. So like you start to love the dog, and then the next thing you know is like just they fucking kill it so fast, and you're like, wait, what? And
they
it
also
just
do a
hurts that
really
much
good
more.
job of in the beginning setting up like they get through the backstory about his wife like quickly, but also it doesn't feel rushed. Like it's just like efficient, where you see like them like doing all of this stuff and having fun together, and then all of a sudden like they're walking down the street and she collapses and then she's in the hospital, and then it's like it just goes through everything and like just lets you know what happened in a very it's very show don't tell. Like there's never a moment where they have to be like, oh yeah, my wife died, or like people do talk about it, but like I like it when movies like do visual storytelling, and I think that was a great moment of that.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. It was very crisp, very on the nose. I liked it. And I mean, he brought her up throughout the movie a few times too, like just as well as like with the dog to build that like emotional connection to the pup. At one point, he was explaining to the mob boss when he was tied up why the dog meant so much to him and why he's doing this.
Yeah.
And it was because he basically said like that dog was his outlet to grieve alone or something like that.
To grieve unalone.
Unalone. Yeah. And then he took that took that away from him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit.
What would you say is your favorite like shootout sequence?
For me, I would say it was the sauna scene.
Yeah.
Although he got kind of fucked up during it. I don't know. I think the tastefulness of that scene of him getting there to the bouncer and then him letting the bouncer know like, hey, why don't you take a day off? He was like, thank you, John.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought it was also kind of fun that everyone knows who he is.
Oh,
like
yeah,
every
dude.
time he walks up to someone, they're like, oh, hi, John.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he's like a fucking legend, you know, like, oh, you're coming out of retirement, you know, like, are you sure you want to do this? And
even the
it was like, it's personal.
The
Everyone's
cop
like, oh
in the
God.
beginning is like, are you working again, John?
Yeah. He's like, all right, well, I'll leave you to it. And that's when Sydney was like, so like, she was like this man, you know, is the biggest fucking killer in town, and he has a respect that no one else does, which is kind of crazy to me that the cop, you know, that they put the cop in there doing that.
Yeah, it's almost like I like those little moments where like they just don't really tell you what's going on. Like they're just like we're sitting there wondering like what is happening in this world that this man just killed 10 guys in his home, and the cops are just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing was
what
like
did he say, taking care of business or a misunderstanding or something like that.
Yeah, I think the cop was like, are you working again? And he was like, no, I'm just taking care of something personal or something like that, or I don't know.
Yeah, something around those lines. And he was like, oh, all right, well, I'll leave you to it. And then
But, like there's
left.
that, and like all of the gold coins, like there's never a moment where they're like, oh, this is what a gold coin means or how much it's worth. It's just like every single thing is just like, oh, you just like slip this person a coin and you're good to go.
Yeah, like each head is a gold coin kind of thing. Although, did he slip the cop a gold coin? I don't think he did, right?
No, he didn't. He didn't give the cop a coin, but
Yeah.
he had 12 gold coins for the cleanup crew because there were 12
Right.
dead bodies in his house. So that makes sense, like a coin for each body. And then he gives a coin to the person at the front desk at the hotel for his room card. And then when he goes into that like lounge area in the basement, he has to put a coin in the door.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I think I mean, it's pretty interesting also because like they call like that the cleanup like a dinner reservation.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
Um,
people speaking in code.
Yeah, yeah. And it just like makes you wonder like what that world is actually like, because I mean that world is definitely out there, you know.
Well, and
It's
it's kind of funny that like because obviously if when everyone it makes sense to speak in code if you like think that you're being like I don't know like wiretapped or someone or like think that someone might be sorry my washer is going crazy all of a sudden it's literally shaking my desk.
really, I don't hear it.
No. But it makes sense like if they were like, oh, we have to be careful about what we say, otherwise we'll get in trouble with the law kind of a thing. But I feel like when it's just a bunch of killers talking to each other, I don't
I
really
still
understand
used
the
it.
need to like hide everything you're saying,
Hey man, you never know who's listening.
I guess.
Big Brother's always watching, bro. Yeah, I don't know.
Or
But
even
I
like
did like that
when
like low
the
key,
when the girl tried to kill him in his room and he's like, oh, he gets the call from the front desk and he's like, sorry, I was dealing with an uninvited guest.
Yeah, yeah, which is not allowed on that property, which I abso-fucking-lutely love how they handled that at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
Sydney hated that lady the whole way through. I mean, she was not a fan. But I was
Um,
actually like really upset that that African American guy got killed by her.
yeah, that was
I
very
liked
sad.
him a lot. I liked him a lot. He was classy.
But yeah, I definitely I would agree with you. I think the bathhouse for me was the most exciting one as well, especially just like the contrast of like all of the like bright neon lights and all that stuff in the background is just like it was just a fun sequence.
Yeah, yeah. It was great. And also where they went to, like from the bathhouse to the clubhouse to
And the
and there were
guy's like
three
running through the
different
crowd in
yeah.
just a towel.
Yeah, yeah, like wild, just crazy. And then he's like killing these dudes in like the middle of the dance floor, and I don't know. One
Yeah.
thing I did think was funny was that there was like no like screaming or stampede until like the very end, where they were openly shooting out above the people. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I guess like in a I haven't like been to like a party of that size, but I've been to some places where the music gets really fucking loud, and I could imagine if there's like 500 people in a room and everyone's dancing and yelling and the music's blaring, like you might not hear someone getting shot 30 feet away from you.
Was I right? Oh, I love that noise. Sorry.
Bro, the freaking end music goes on so long. It like always is longer than I think it's gonna be.
Yeah, I heard it like in the background, and that's all I could think of. So I did not really hear what you said. What did you say?
I was
Like,
just
damn
saying
it.
I think if you have like 400 people in a room and everyone's yelling and the music is super loud, it seems relatively believable to me that you could not hear a gunshot like 40 feet away from you.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. But I mean, you definitely see the dead bodies like pooling up in the middle of the dance floor.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I think the people directly around the fire were definitely reacting. It just took a
Mhm.
while for everyone else to catch on.
Yeah, 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 true. Maybe. Yeah, but that was definitely one of the coolest sequences. Like there's like a drowning kill. And then that one was pretty personal. But yeah.
I also like Marcus,
Who
who's
is he?
played by Willem Dafoe, and he shows up at John's wife's funeral.
Oh, yes.
And then later he gets contacted by the person, the gangster guy's dad, and he's like, "Hey, I know that you and John are friends, but I'll give you $2 million to kill him." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And they like set it up as if he's gonna betray John, but then there's two different instances where he like helps save his life. Where the first one, when the girl attacks him in the room, he like shoots the pillow next to him to wake him up. to like alert him that there's someone else in the room.
Right.
And then the second time when he's being strangled by those guys, and he shoots one of them to help John get out of it.
Which is kind of wild that he is there in those perfect instances. It's as if he was like watching over him the whole time, like Big Brother.
Yeah, well, because he knew that, because he even asked the person, he was like, hey, is this a exclusive contract? And the guy was like, no, it's open. So he knows that other people are going to be going after him. So I guess he was just like following him around to keep him safe.
That's crazy. He should have just told him that there was a contract out, because I don't think he knew yet at that time, right?
I mean, I'm sure he figured it out after everyone started trying to kill him.
I mean, yeah. A little too late though.
But yeah, and then he gets pretty fucked up in the end there, and like stabs him in the leg and punches him a bunch, but eventually he kills two henchmen and then like forces the guy to shoot him, because he's like you go out on my terms, and he's like, nah, I'm going out on my own.
Yeah. And that was baller. I mean, he also like smiled, you know, he knew what he was doing, and he knew like that life kind of comes to an end in that way.
Yeah. It's not really,
so I'm sure they were prepared.
An easy way out.
No. You die by the fire, you live by the fire.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. What did you think about the, like, it almost feels like the people that he was going after weren't themselves really that much of a threat. Like, he goes through all of these shootouts and he's like dealing with all of these like gangsters and these other assassins and things like that, but when it comes down to the annoying Russian guy and his dad, like, neither of them really put up that big of a fight.
Yeah, I mean, the son kind of just, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like the son's death was just kind of like, buddy gets shot in the head while playing video games. The son gets rushed out by two guards. The two guards get killed, and then he also gets killed.
Yeah.
That was it.
He was just like cowering up against like a crate or something. He was like, it's just a dog. And then John just shoots him in the face.
Yeah, and then walks away. It was so crisp. I thought there was going to be like a voice line or something like that Wick says, but he never did any of that.
His dad fights a little bit more, but even then it's just like they have a little bit of a punch out in the rain, and then he manages to stab John, and then John stabs him in the neck.
Well, he doesn't even manage to stab John, bro. John, like, for some weird reason, looks down at the knife and like
lets him stab him.
Yeah.
Because I think
kind of fucking weird.
He knew that was the best way to, I guess, get the knife away from him. Because he like lets him stab him and then immediately breaks his arm.
Yeah, that's
and so
true.
Then he can take the knife out and use it to stab against the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just interesting death and killing scene, because then they were both like sitting there bleeding, and what did John say to him? Or the mobster said it to him.
He said, "Be seeing you, John," and then John's like, "Yeah, be seeing you."
Yeah, like what?
And then the Russian guy dies, and John limps back to the car. And they actually like split this up a little bit, because at the very, very beginning of the movie, we see John driving an SUV, and he just like rams into the side of a building. He's like slowly driving, crashes, and then like falls out of the car.
Right.
And he's just like laying there watching an old video of his wife on his phone. And so that's like the sequence that is happening right now after he kills the Russian guy. And he's laying there watching the video, and he's like starts to like let go, and it seems as if he's just gonna like lay there and die. But then in the video, his wife says, "All right, it's time to go home," and he like gets a second wind, and then he breaks into a vet clinic and uses their tools to stitch himself back. He like staples his wound back together. Yeah,
he staples himself shut. Like, that's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think it was interesting how they set that up. Like, they set it up with what you just said, like him slowly crashing, jumping out, getting on his phone, and the next thing you see is like him waking up in his home. So they set it up as if it was a dream, right? Which I think was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it being a dream, but that does make sense.
Yeah, like that the second time I watched it, because it'd been way long, and other movies kind of start like that too. Like, oh, it's like, you know, a dream, and then you wake up and it's totally different, but it kind of sets the mood for the movie. But yeah, no, I think they wanted to set it up as a dream, but then it ties back kind of like a loop, like you said, to the end of the movie, and you're like, oh, okay, kind of makes sense. Then it clicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was cool the way also they set it up with like the dog part when they were at the gas station and he was trying to buy the car, and then he was like, I like this dog. And then he basically looks at John and says, everything's got a price, right? And the next
I
thing
think
you
he was
know,
talking about the car with the price.
he was.
Yeah.
But then the next thing you know is somehow they're in his house. All of a sudden,
Yeah, I guess
all
they
three
just
of
like
them.
followed him home, or I don't know how they figured out where he lives, but
Yeah, no idea, but they just kind of walked into his home, beat the shit out of him. But then let's say go forward. At one point, John says, everything's got a price
yeah.
to Victor because Victor called him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor called him. Wait, no. The boss's son, mobster's son, called him. I forgot his name. And he was like, hey, Victor, like his best friend is Victor. And then John goes, Victor's dead. Everything's got a price, and hangs up.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fucking badass. I was like, yeah, you fucking let him know.
I also like when he, like, right after they steal the car, they go into the like chop shop, and they're like, hey, I
Yeah.
want this car cleaned up, like new license plate, new VIN number. And the guy's immediately like, where'd you get that car from?
Yeah, he knew. He was like, this is uh-oh. Which is
And then-
interesting though, because you don't really see much of that character.
Yeah, he's really only in the beginning. It's I believe his character's name is Aurelio, and it's played by John Leguizamo. And great part, I think, for how small it is. But he slaps him, and they freak out, and they're like, my dad's not going to be very happy about this. And then later he gets a call from the guy's dad. He's like, why did you hit my son? And he's like, he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. And the guy just goes, oh. And then hangs up.
Dude, I mean, when a mobster says oh, and then you get all these scenes of him like thoughtful and like in his head, like, oh fuck, kind of thing, that's when you figure out how big of a deal this John Wick is. Because you don't understand the gravity of the situation until that scene specifically, for me at least.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I think they strike a pretty good balance of, like, yes, obviously a lot of people are trying to kill him throughout the movie, but there's also like a decent number of people who are on John's side.
Right. Yeah.
Like the car guy helps him out. Everyone at the hotel helps him, obviously. Marcus helps him. He's got the I don't even remember who else, but there's just like there's a fair number of people who, like, it, for how hyper realistic this is, and like it obviously I don't think it's possible that anyone could be this badass. Like, even if it was just like on accident, like you'd catch a stray bullet eventually.
Yeah.
But like they do make it clear that he's not like a one-man army. Like John he wouldn't be able to do all of this by himself. He does need other people. And I feel like that helps ground his character and make it a bit more realistic.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. He does get a lot of help throughout the movie, which definitely helps with that aspect of it. You right?
But yeah, all around, I think pretty good movie. I don't have any other specific notes. I don't know if you've got anything else.
No, but I do just want to add to what we had been saying at one point when he went to the vet clinic. He like broke a dog out of one of the kennels and like walked home, and he said, "Let's go home with the dog."
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like,
He got himself a new dog, pit bull, I think.
Yeah, a little pit bull, which is funny because that could have been someone else's dog, and he just fucking stole it.
Yeah, he literally just jacked this dog.
But yeah, good movie overall for show. All right, shout.
All right, well, let us move on to trivia.
Let's do it.
Got some good facts for us today.
Let's hear him.
Our first fact is that director Chad Stahelski was Keanu Reeves' stunt double in the Matrix movies.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So yeah, going back to what I was saying before about the director being a stunt person, he actually doubled for Keanu Reeves, so they have a relationship.
Oh, wow. Cool.
According to Keanu Reeves, he did 90% of his own stunts in the movie.
Dude, typical. Yep. That's what I know about him, is like this man does it himself.
Yeah. And it says here, in preparation for the role, Keanu Reeves trained with weapons and martial arts, and he trained 8 hours a day for 4 months.
What? Really?
And you can see like
Holy.
on YouTube the videos of him like at the shooting range, and they like, it's impressive.
Damn. Okay. I wonder how they filmed those scenes with like the shooting. Like, were there just blanks in the gun? Were they just BBs or like,
Yeah, I would imagine they're just blanks. I don't think they're firing anything. And especially even for close up ones, I bet it's not even blanks, because like even when you fire a blank, there is still something coming out of the gun. It's just not a bullet.
Right.
So you can't really like point blank shoot someone with a blank. So that would just be like an empty gun, and then you just go like bang and just like pretend that it's shooting.
Yeah, yeah. But wow, that's impressive. I didn't know that he did all that. Above and beyond.
In an interview with Rudy's Movie Reviews, Kevin Nash stated that he was told the reason that his character, Francis the Bouncer, was allowed to live. Nash said that when Wick mentions that he had lost some weight, and Francis stated that he lost 60 pounds, they were actually speaking in code, and Wick was asking how many hostiles were in the building. So Francis saying that he lost 60 pounds was telling John that there was 60 bad guys in the building.
You're kidding me. What? That's sick. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, so he lets him live because he gave him all that intel, basically.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like
according to a director's interview, Chad Stahelski and David Leitch reused quite a few of the stuntmen several times throughout the movie. In order to make them look like different people, they would change their hair. So they'd do things like film a sequence and have like a bunch of bad guys with long hair, and then cut everyone's hair and then do a different sequence.
Interesting. Wow. That's crazy. That's really cool.
That's how they got away with that 20 million. You just reuse the same people over and over again.
Honestly, bro. That's insane. What a good idea, though,
Yeah.
Start them off with a wig, then chop the wig a bit, then go to the real hair, and then chop their real hair, maybe. That's awesome.
John Wick transitions between several shooting styles depending on the situation. During close quarters combat and while moving through tight hallways, he employs a center axis relock stance. And when moving and shooting at longer ranges, he changes into the more traditional Weaver and isosceles stances.
Yeah, I noticed that like the close range one where he had his like handgun pressed all the way to his chest kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that was interesting. He definitely fucking did his homework.
Yeah,
Because you never see any other action movies like that, really.
I'm not a gun person, so I had to look up what each of those stances were. But after seeing them, I definitely recognize that he was doing them.
Wait, what was the one for the longer range? What was that called?
So there's Weaver stance, which is like your body is at an angle and your arms are fully outstretched. And then isosceles is like your feet are perpendicular to where you're aiming.
Oh, interesting.
And then center axis relock is also like one shoulder forward, but then like you were saying, the gun is much closer to your person rather than having your arms fully extended.
I see. I'm looking at pictures of him now. Interesting. That's crazy. LOL. I looked up center axis relock stance, and the fourth picture is John Wick.
There you go.
Damn, that's cool. Huh. All the things you don't know, at least for you and I.
Before action starts, John wears his watch in a typical way, but when he prepares for battle, you can see him turn it to the inside of his wrist. Soldiers often do this to be able to see the time while holding a rifle and to avoid reflections from the glass that may give away their position.
Okay. I knew because like when you hold a gun, your wrists face your interior body. That makes sense, but the reflections part is pretty dope. Yeah.
And speaking of John Wick's watch, the one that you can see in the red circle changing room is a Carl F. Bucherer Monero auto date, which retails for $3,495.
Jesus. That's not too bad, actually, price-wise.
That's way more than I would ever spend on a watch.
Wait, how much was it?
$3,495.
Yeah, that's a chunk of change, but, they're way more high-end watches.
I mean, for sure, but
yeah,
my watch was like $100.
I mean, my watch was like $800, so I'm almost there.
Are you? You're not even a quarter away there.
I mean, look, you stack up 4 of these and you're good.
That's too much.
Honestly, my watch collection might be in total probably close to like 3,000.
So that means all of your watches are still not as much as this single watch.
Okay, relax. I'm also not rich, okay?
That's what I'm saying. You gotta be rich to spend that kind of money on a watch.
I mean, a $3,000-$4,000 watch isn't that expensive for a watch, though.
Yeah, for people that have $4,000 to spend on a watch.
Yeah. There's
But
this
most
guy I
people
watch on
don't.
Twitch who's a streamer. He bought like a $20,000 to $30,000 Rolex, diamond encrusted, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, but there's a limit, I think, at which expensive becomes ridiculous. Because
Oh, yeah,
they're
no,
like,
for sure.
I'm spending money on this thing because it's high quality versus like, I'm spending money on this because it's like artificially inflated. Like when you
Well,
have a
it's the status
diamond
quo,
encrusted watch, it's like, that's not necessarily that the watch is really good. It's just expensive because it's covered in diamonds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, a watch game. People
Uh,
definitely have ticks for them.
The whiskey that John Wick drinks throughout the film is Blanton's.
Ah, would you look at that? A good whiskey.
And for more identification here, we can talk about some of the muscle cars in the movie. There is a 1969 Mustang GT with a 390 Ci engine, which is mistaken for a 429 Boss Mustang, that's the one that he was originally driving that the gangsters were
Right.
interested in.
And then he gets into a Camaro SS 71, 72.
There is a 1970 SS 454 LS6 Chevelle.
Oh, damn. That was close.
There is a 2011 Dodge Charger LD. And then there is a 1968 Dodge Charger in Aurelio's garage.
Oh, I was about to ask, like, where was that? That was in his garage. Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, they had some good cars lined up there, quite honestly.
The CGI dog poop costed the film team about $5,000.
You're kidding me.
The director said that they wouldn't let us give laxatives to the puppy.
Good. I mean, don't. But also, you could have just like put poop there and then like green screened it in to where the dog was sitting there.
Nope. CGI dog poop.
It didn't even look realistic, dude.
It's like
it looked
a
way too
perfect little
crisp.
ice cream swirl.
Yeah. Sydney mentioned that when we were watching it. That's hilarious. $5,000 for that, bruh. That's insane.
Well, listen. Some people spend thousands of dollars on silly things. Maybe it's poop. Maybe it's watches.
I'd rather have the watch.
I don't know. I just like, I guess, yeah, like you were saying, I think it's like, obviously it's a status symbol kind of a thing, but I just like, I don't know. That's not it for me.
I feel you. Yeah. I mean, you have a PC that's that much.
I have plenty of other things that I can tell time with.
Yeah, true. No, I'm with you. I wouldn't ever buy something that expensive, I don't think.
The director said that they received studio notes suggesting that maybe the dog didn't need to die.
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree, but kind of disagree. I don't know. That's a hard one for me because
I think if it was just them stealing his car, it wouldn't
have sufficed.
It wouldn't have made as much sense.
Okay. Yeah. Unless they like made the car out to be this thing that, his wife gave him as a gift, a parting gift.
Yeah.
Instead of the dog, the puppy. I don't know. They definitely put the puppy in there because, most people love puppies, and killing off a puppy is one thing versus stealing a car. Most people would just maybe wouldn't understand.
Yeah. I also think, and I do think I make fun of Elena sometimes, but I think it's funny when like someone can watch a movie and there's like countless numbers of people and like children dying and all this stuff, and they're like completely stone-faced, and then like someone stabs a horse and they're like bawling their eyes out.
Yeah. It's something with like the animal factor, man, that people just can't, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't need to kill off the dog. Maybe they just stole the dog. That would have worked too, I think.
Why would they steal the dog though?
I don't know, because he wanted the dog.
Like,
he liked the dog
want
too.
This dog.
He liked the dog as well as the car, like I don't know. That could have worked. And then at the end of the movie, they could have ended it like happily, where he killed all those fucking guys, and then his puppy was there, and he takes his puppy back home instead of like stealing some random person's dog out of a vet clinic.
Well, listen, obviously that person didn't deserve their dog.
Apparently not. I mean, I guess John Wick that gets it. You don't fuck with him, so.
The directors credit Keanu Reeves' dedication and talent with their ability to do long takes during the fight scenes. They said, I think we really only cut for impact. We didn't have to cut to get around moves. We didn't cut to speed things up. We wanted you to see what happens before, during, and after.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's
So,
what
yeah.
happens when you put that work in.
That's what happens when you spend 4 months, 8 hours a day in training.
Yeah, basically. Wow, those are some good facts. Unless you have more?
Yeah, that was the last one.
All right. No, yeah, those are solid. Hell yeah.
With that said, it's time to get wrecked.
I think it is.
I'll go ahead and start this week.
All right.
Hey, and I'm going. Yeah.
Speaking of wrecks, how did you like the wreck that I gave at one point? Maybe twice. I don't know if we talked about it when you came here. You went to Meow Wolf. Did we already talk about that?
Did we? Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah, we did. We talked about it last week.
Okay. Because I was
because I went before we recorded last week.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. Well, what's your wreck this week?
You know what we didn't talk about last week though that we can talk about real quick. We didn't tell our audience about how mini golf went.
That's true. We did not. It was really fun. I loved it. There's basically like these 2 courses that have like different vibes to them.
Yeah.
And basically you could walk around with an alcoholic beverage.
And a lot of them were
play mini
very
golf.
either Denver specifically or Colorado, but they were like themed around the area. There was like the airport was one of the holes.
And then the city, right?
Yeah, there was another one that had what's that there's like I forget what it's called now, but there's a famous like music stage out in the middle of the Colorado desert.
Oh my God. Red Rocks. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had all sorts of like landmarks as golf, and then there was also like silly stuff. Like one of them was just like a circle with some ducks on it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. They definitely had like some gags in there, but definitely really well made. I loved it. It was pretty fun. Definitely would go again, I think.
Yeah, and they had some pretty good drinks there too.
I agree.
Yeah, fun
definitely,
atmosphere, fun game.
The show.
But anyway, back to our recs. My recommendation for this week is going to be the Netflix series Kunk on Earth. It is a sort of like a comedy documentary kind of a thing. But it basically just like goes through the history of the world. But the host of the show is a very funny person, and she has like interviews with like experts and stuff, and she's pretty much just trolling them the whole time, and it's hilarious.
Huh. Cool. For my rec, I was kind of between 2 things. I was either going to do a food or actually shout out another podcast that I really enjoy.
Oh yeah?
So which do you want to hear?
Up to you, my dude. Whichever one you don't use now, you can use next week.
That's true. All right. So there is another podcast that is more they've been around for a long time, like over a decade. They're called Radio Lab, and they have each one of their episodes is incredibly researched, with like, firsthand account interviews and all that stuff, and great sound effects, and every topic is like something you might read the topic, you're like, well, I'm not really interested in that, and then you listen to it, you're like, whoa, it kind of opens up a whole new atmosphere, whole new world. The last one I listened to, for example, was basically combining AI with trying to do good for research, like DNA sequencing research, to let's say reverse certain illnesses, right? So they use AI to write special RNA DNA codes that we've never seen before that could in turn reverse, let's say, cancer, for instance. But this took like the turn for me was they were invited to a conference, like a top secret conference, which was the negative effects of this type of research. And they had never thought of that before. So that, like when you have the code, they changed a few zeros and ones to basically invert the good part and make it all bad. And then now they have like a list of who knows how many of these bad RNA DNA sequences, which is like 20 to 1,000 times worse than the worst one we've seen, which was how Kim Jong-un's brother got assassinated in the airport with a nerve agent that was wiped across his face, and he passed away like within a short amount of time because of it. The crazy part also was the U.S. government, the White House, invited them over, and they wanted to have a talk with them. And then at one point, the U.S. government asked them to have that data, and the scientists said no. it's off grid. It's on like a encrypted PC and all that jazz. But they did not want to give it to the U.S. nor anyone else because it's basically such a bad biological weapon to have.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, but good podcasts called Radiolab. Definitely listen to them. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, I would like to say please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Tell your friends and family about us. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CashFanPod. If you want to send us a message, you can do so on either of those platforms, or you can send an email to casualfanaticpodcast@gmail.com. Links for all of those are in the description. Luca, what kind of messages can they send us?
We want to hear from you regarding what you think of our podcast, what you think would be fun to add, if there are any specific movies or shows that you would want us to take a look at and, spit, our thoughts over. If you tried our recs, let us know that too. Or if you yourself have a recommendation that you're like, man, I really want, them and other people to try this out. Pretty cool.
Oh, also, I would like to mention, I said you could use your other recommendation next week, but we're actually gonna be off for the next couple weeks because next weekend Elaine and I are going backpacking.
Okay.
And then immediately after backpacking, we are going to New York, and we will be there throughout the whole next week after that.
What's in New York?
Vacation.
Just vacation time?
Yeah.
Really cool. All right. Is it any special occasion or you guys were just like, yeah, let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the week of spring break for Elena, so she doesn't have school.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
I just took off of work.
Cool. Well, the listeners now know.
Yeah. So if you don't see any new uploads for the next couple weeks, that's why. But we will come back. Just be patient.
We will be back.
But yeah, hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week. Hope for any of you who do watch the Oscars today, you can let us know what you thought, if who you thought would win did win, or if you were disappointed by the results. But
let us know.
Yeah, this has been Casual Fanatic. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.